The Dallas Cowboys have made more moves in this year's free agency than they did last season. But despite their increased activity, not everyone is impressed. One ESPN NFL analyst is highly skeptical of their approach, questioning whether the Cowboys are genuinely committed to building a better team. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Unlike last offseason, when Dallas remained mostly passive, the front office has been slightly more aggressive this time around. The team has signed multiple players to short-term contracts, hoping to fill key roster spots with low-risk, high-reward additions. Among the newest Cowboys are running back Javonte Williams, a player with explosive potential but a history of injuries, and Robert Hunt, a solid guard known for his physicality in the trenches. Additionally, Dallas has added 2 former first-round picks, edge rusher Peyton Turner and defensive tackle Solomon Thomas, both of whom are looking for a fresh start to revitalize their careers. But the Cowboys didn't stop there. On Wednesday, they completed 2 trades, bringing in former Buffalo Bills cornerback Kaiir Elam and former Tennessee Titans linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr. These moves signal an effort to add depth to key defensive positions, but whether these players will significantly improve the team remains up for debate. While the front office sees these moves as a strategic way to strengthen a team that struggled to a 7-10 record last season, not everyone is convinced. Former NFL safety and current ESPN analyst Ryan Clark is one of the biggest skeptics. He believes that the Cowboys simply aren't serious about making a real push for success. Speaking on ESPN, Clark didn't hold back when discussing the Cowboys' off-season approach. "They don't care. I'm convinced the Cowboys just don't care," Clark stated bluntly. Dallas is taking a "we'll see what happens" approach. They're not making a real effort to improve this off-season. Clark's frustration comes from what he perceives as a lack of urgency from the Cowboys. While teams around the league, especially in the NFC East, have been aggressive in adding top-tier talent, Dallas has taken a far more conservative approach. Compared to their division rivals, the Cowboys have spent significantly less money in free agency, choosing instead to rely on budget-friendly deals and internal development. However, the team is also dealing with major roster losses that could be difficult to replace. While the Cowboys have brought in a handful of new faces, they've also lost 2 of their most important veteran leaders, players who defined the team's identity for years. The first major loss was All-Pro guard Zach Martin, who announced his retirement. Martin has been the backbone of the Cowboys' offensive line for years, providing both elite talent and leadership. His absence leaves a significant void, both in protecting quarterback Dak Prescott and in setting the tone for the offense. The second big departure came on Wednesday, when 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Lawrence was the emotional and physical leader of the Cowboys' defensive front, and losing him could have a major impact on the team's ability to pressure opposing quarterbacks. Clark made it clear that these losses go beyond just on-field production. "It's character. It's toughness. It's leadership," Clark explained. "When you watched DeMarcus Lawrence play, he was the one guy on that defensive front who played the game the way it's supposed to be played. He dominated at the line of scrimmage. He was physical. He set the tone. Even with Micah Parsons being their best player, no one else brought that same edge." Losing cornerstone players isn't just about replacing their skill sets, it's about replacing their presence in the locker room, their work ethic in practice, and their ability to elevate those around them. Based on their moves this offseason, it appears that owner Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office are continuing to prioritize building through the draft. Drafting well is undeniably important, and it's a strategy that has helped Dallas build a strong foundation over the years. However, Clark and other critics argue that the Cowboys are relying too much on developing young talent rather than making aggressive moves in free agency to compete right now. The best example: their biggest rival just won a second Super Bowl by doing the exact opposite. While Dallas remains conservative in free agency, their NFC East counterparts have embraced a different philosophy, one that has led to success on the biggest stage. By bringing in proven veterans and spending big when necessary, they've managed to build a championship-caliber roster. The Cowboys' approach to free agency has sparked intense debate among analysts and fans alike. Are they making smart, calculated moves that will pay off in the long run? Or are they missing a golden opportunity to improve immediately and compete at the highest level? For now, all eyes are on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys' front office. Will their draft-first strategy prove successful, or will their reluctance to make splashy moves in free agency cost them once again? One thing is certain: if Dallas doesn't take a step forward this season, critics like Ryan Clark will have plenty more to say. One of the key moves the Cowboys made during the negotiating window was securing veteran guard Robert Jones, a former Miami Dolphin. As Dallas works to reconfigure its offensive line for the 2025 season, Jones' arrival brings important questions about where he fits in and what this signing signals about the team's broader plans. At 26 years old, Jones is coming off his first full season as a starting guard in Miami. Despite entering the league as an undrafted free agent 4 years ago, he consistently earned a place on the Dolphins roster, proving his reliability as a backup before gradually carving out a bigger role. Between 2021 and 2023, he started 13 games before locking down the left guard position full-time last season. Though he has some experience at offensive tackle in emergency situations, his primary role has always been on the interior. Now, Jones joins the Cowboys on a 1-year, $4.75 million contract, positioning himself as a strong candidate for the starting right guard job. With the retirement of Zach Martin, the Cowboys are entering a season without their all-pro linchpin at right guard for the first time in over a decade. Jones steps into what is expected to be a competitive battle for the position, and with his experience, he may have an advantage over some of the younger, less proven players. Brock Hoffman, who stepped in admirably for Martin after his injury last season, has been retained on an exclusive rights free agent deal. His strong play in relief of Martin gave the Cowboys confidence in keeping him around, and he will certainly have an opportunity to compete for a starting role. Meanwhile, T.J. Bass, another undrafted player in Dallas' developmental system, remains an intriguing option after showing promise in limited action last year. The Cowboys have also added Jack Anderson, a former 7th-round pick by Buffalo in 2021, signing him to a futures contract earlier this year. Anderson has been in and out of practice squads over the past few years, but the Cowboys see enough potential in him to warrant bringing him into camp for competition. Another name to watch in the mix is Asim Richards, a 5th-round selection from the 2023 draft. While guard is widely believed to be his best long-term position in the NFL, his collegiate experience at tackle might lead the Cowboys to consider him as a swing tackle, a role left open after Chuma Edoga's departure in free agency. Richards has already spent time working in that role over the past 2 seasons, but if Dallas adds another offensive tackle in free agency or the draft, he could still be a factor in the right guard competition. Outside of the right guard battle, the rest of the Cowboys' offensive line appears to be mostly set for 2025. Barring any major off-season acquisitions, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, and Terrence Steele are expected to retain their roles as starting linemen. Cooper Beebe is also a near lock to start, but whether that will be at center or right guard remains to be determined. Much of Dallas' final lineup decisions will depend on how the front office approaches free agency and the draft in the next 2 months. With a restructured offensive coaching staff, the Cowboys could also see some changes in how they evaluate and utilize their linemen. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer brings a run-heavy approach, a departure from Mike McCarthy's system, which could lead to shifts in personnel deployment. Additionally, new offensive line coach Clayton Adams, who has a strong background in coaching linemen, may implement a different approach in player development and scheme fits. One possible scenario is that the new staff sees Hoffman as the ideal center, allowing Beebe to remain at guard while Jones serves as a valuable veteran backup. Alternatively, the Cowboys could opt to keep Hoffman in a reserve role due to his versatility, giving Jones a clearer path to a starting job. Ultimately, the addition of Robert Jones provides the Cowboys with another viable option along the offensive line. At $4.75 million, the Cowboys clearly view him as a player with legitimate starting potential. His contract is modest enough that he could end up as a high-quality backup, but it's also a significant financial step up from the $1.2 million the team had been paying Chuma Edoga over the last 2 seasons, suggesting the front office sees Jones as a legitimate contributor. Jones' exact role in 2025 will largely depend on how things unfold in the coming months. If a promising young lineman becomes available in the draft, or if players like Hoffman and Bass take significant developmental strides, Jones may ultimately serve as depth. However, given the current state of the roster, Dallas appears to be positioning him as the frontrunner to take over the right guard position when the season kicks off. Beyond his immediate impact on the field, Jones' arrival also signals how the Cowboys are approaching their offensive line rebuild following the departure of key veterans. Losing Zach Martin leaves a massive void, not only in terms of talent but also leadership and stability. While Jones may not fill those shoes entirely, his experience and ability to step into a starting role help ease the transition for a unit that must quickly adapt to life without its longtime anchor. The Cowboys have historically placed great importance on building a strong offensive line, and this offseason is no different. The team is clearly looking for a blend of experience and youth to maintain a competitive front, and Jones represents a calculated move in that direction. While his signing may not be the splashiest addition of the offseason, it could prove to be a vital piece of the puzzle as Dallas aims to re-establish dominance in the trenches. As training camp approaches, all eyes will be on the offensive line competition, with Jones expected to play a significant role. Whether he emerges as the full-time starter or as a reliable depth piece, his presence adds another layer of versatility and security to a unit that will be under heavy scrutiny in 2025. Solomon Thomas, a seasoned defensive tackle entering his 8th NFL season, has officially joined the Dallas Cowboys after spending the last 3 years with the New York Jets. Over the course of his career, Thomas has been known for his versatility, physicality, and relentless work ethic. In 2024, he recorded 26 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks, proving that he remains a disruptive force on the defensive line. Now, as he begins this new chapter in Dallas, he is eager to bring his experience, leadership, and energy to a team looking to re-establish itself as a contender. For Thomas, this move isn't just about football, it's a homecoming of sorts. It also marks a reunion with Cowboys defensive line coach Aaron White-Cotton, a familiar face from his time in New York. The two worked together for 3 seasons with the Jets, building a strong relationship that Thomas believes will be instrumental in his transition to Dallas. "I've been incredibly fortunate to work with Coach White-Cotton," Thomas said. "I joined the Jets in his 2nd year as defensive line coach, and watching his growth over the past 3 seasons has been unbelievable. He's developed into one of the best defensive line coaches in the league, and I've seen firsthand how much he invests in his players and how committed he is to their success." White-Cotton has earned a reputation as one of the top developers of defensive talent in the league. During his time with the Jets, he played a key role in the growth of multiple standout players, including 3-time Pro Bowler Quinnen Williams. Thomas believes that same level of development will continue in Dallas and is excited about the opportunity to once again play under White-Cotton's leadership. "The results speak for themselves," Thomas explained. "You can look at the numbers and see how well his players have performed, how many guys have secured big contracts because of the work they've put in under him. He's great at letting players play their own style while also pushing us to reach the next level. He knows how to bring out the best in us." Beyond technique and game preparation, White-Cotton is known for his ability to connect with players on a personal level. Thomas emphasized how much that means to him and to his teammates. "He sets a standard that never wavers," Thomas continued. "You're getting a coach who gives everything he has. He's intense, passionate, and truly cares for his players. In return, his players love him back. He knows how to push us, but he also knows when to support us. That's what makes him special as a coach." Throughout his career, Thomas has played multiple roles across the defensive line, showcasing his ability to contribute both inside and outside. His versatility has allowed him to adjust to different schemes and systems, but he believes that Cowboys defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus's system is a perfect fit for his playing style. "I love this scheme because it allows you to stop thinking and just react," Thomas said. "It's an attacking front. You go out and attack every play. It's about violence, effort, and passion. That's what this defense is built on. I feel like this system fits my game perfectly because I love to play fast, I love to be decisive, I love to be physical, and I love to play with relentless energy." While football is his passion, Thomas has always made it a priority to have an impact beyond the field. He is deeply committed to making a difference in the community, using his platform to advocate for important causes. One of his greatest missions has been the fight against youth suicide, particularly among young people of color. That passion led him to co-found The Defensive Line, a non-profit organization dedicated to ending the epidemic of youth suicide through awareness, education, and outreach. His work with The Defensive Line has also connected him to Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, who has been a strong advocate for mental health awareness through his own foundation, Faith, Fight, Finish. The two organizations share a common goal of breaking the stigma surrounding mental health and providing support to those in need. "They've supported us tremendously," Thomas said of Prescott's foundation. "They've donated, lifted up our mission, and continue to do incredible work here. There's a reason Dak was named Walter Payton Man of the Year. His impact in Dallas and beyond is truly inspiring. He cares deeply about the community, and that's something I really respect." Now, Thomas is not only aligned with Prescott off the field, he's also joining him as a teammate. And he couldn't be more excited about the opportunity to suit up alongside one of the league's top quarterbacks. "I'm thrilled to play with him," Thomas said. "I've heard so much about the kind of leader he is. Of course, his play speaks for itself. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But what really stands out is the way he carries himself, the way he inspires his teammates, and the way he leads. I'm just grateful to be here and to go to battle with him." The excitement goes beyond just football. Thomas sees this as an opportunity to collaborate even more closely with Prescott to expand their shared mission of mental health advocacy and community service. And now, with faith, fight, finish, and the defensive line working even more closely together, we can continue making a real impact, serving this community, and saving as many lives as possible, Thomas said. As he prepares for his first season with the Cowboys, Thomas is embracing the opportunity with open arms. From his reunion with Coach White Cotton to the chance to play in an attacking defensive scheme, to his work in the Dallas community, this new chapter feels like the perfect fit. Playing for the Cowboys is more than just another step in his NFL journey, it's a dream come true.